It's boarding time. You've paid for your seat, cleared security, and your group is called. But just as you're about to step onto the plane, you're stopped. Your carry-on, the same one you've trusted for years, is suddenly rejected. You're told to pay $100, hand it over, or risk missing your flight entirely. Scenes like this are playing out in airports every day. Travelers are blindsided, forced to unpack their belongings in public, pay last-minute fees, or scramble as essentials like medication and electronics are taken from them. What should be a simple step in your journey has become a stressful gamble. Why does something as ordinary as bringing a bag on board feel like a trap? And why do the rules seem to shift depending on the airline, the route, or even the staff member at the gate? The truth is, in 2025, carry-on rules aren't just complicated, they're quietly reshaping how we travel. And if you don't know exactly what's happening behind the scenes, you'll almost certainly pay the price. Before we break it all down, hit subscribe so you never get blindsided at the gate again. One forgotten detail can cost you hundreds, and this channel makes sure you're always the traveler who's 2 steps ahead. Let's start at home, with the 3 giants of American air travel: American Airlines, Delta, and United. These carriers handle millions of passengers every year, yet their rules for carry-ons are not as straightforward as most travelers believe. On the surface, they look generous. Each allows 1 carry-on bag and 1 personal item, but the fine print is where the problems begin. For standard economy, the maximum dimensions hover around 22 by 14 by 9 inches. That includes the wheels and the handle, something many travelers overlook. If your bag is even an inch over, it can be flagged at the gate. Then there's weight. While Delta and United rarely enforce strict weight limits for carry-ons on domestic routes, international flights often come with hidden scales at the gate. American, in particular, has been known to weigh bags when passengers least expect it, and if your bag tips over their allowance, you pay or you part with it. But the real trap hides in basic economy. On American and United, that ticket tier doesn't allow a full-size carry-on at all, only a personal item that must fit under the seat in front of you. Travelers who miss that rule are often forced into last-minute fees that erase the savings they thought they made on their ticket. Delta, by contrast, does allow a carry-on in basic economy, but many passengers wrongly assume all 3 carriers are the same, and that assumption can cost them. There are also less obvious gotchas. Musical instruments, for example, can be carried on under US law if they fit in the overhead bin, but not all staff are familiar with the rule, leading to arguments and delays. Camera equipment often pushes size limits, and while medical devices are supposed to be exempt, they're still questioned often enough to cause stress. The problem isn't just the policy, it's the inconsistency in how it's enforced. So what can you do to protect yourself? The simplest step is to measure your bag at home, not just the shell, but with the wheels and handle extended. Airlines measure the total footprint, not the manufacturer's label. A tape measure and a bathroom scale can save you both money and embarrassment. And if you're cutting it close, carry a collapsible tote or backpack. If challenged, you can offload a few items and instantly shrink your bag into compliance. Have you ever been stopped at the gate in the US? Drop your story in the comments. I guarantee you're not the only one. These shared experiences are exactly what help other travelers prepare. Now imagine flying outside the US. You board your flight in Europe, confident your bag is fine. It fits in the overhead, just like at home. But at the gate, a staff member stops you. On Ryanair or EasyJet, size isn't enough. If your bag doesn't slide into their exact metal frame without force, you're charged on the spot. And these aren't small fees, sometimes higher than the ticket you paid for. Budget airlines in Europe are known for this strict enforcement. Their low base fares are built on the expectation that many passengers will be caught paying extra. What feels like a technicality is actually a major revenue stream, and travelers who aren't prepared often learn this lesson in the most expensive way possible, right at the boarding line. In Asia, the rules are just as tough, but in a different way. Airlines like ANA, Singapore, and AirAsia don't just look at the size of your bag, they weigh it. Even if your suitcase is small enough, if it tips past the limit, it's rejected. And these limits can be surprisingly low, sometimes as little as 15 pounds. A bag that would pass easily in the US can be flagged instantly in Tokyo or Bangkok. There are also cultural quirks that many Americans don't see coming. In some countries, that duty-free bag you picked up after security counts toward your allowance. 2 bags in your hand might mean one of them has to go in the hold, even if both are small. And unlike in the US, arguing rarely changes the outcome. The safest move? Always check both the size and the weight of your bag before leaving for the airport, especially in Asia. A lightweight digital luggage scale costs less than a meal at the airport and can save you hundreds in surprise fees. And if you're connecting across continents, remember, the strictest airline on your journey sets the tone. It doesn't matter what the first carrier allowed, you'll have to comply with the toughest rules along the way. Most travelers skip researching these details until it's too late.
Don't be that person. Subscribe now because this channel keeps you a step ahead. Here's the reality. No two regions agree on what counts as a carry-on. If you compared airlines side by side, North America, Europe, Asia, the Middle East, you'd see a chart full of contradictions. What fits easily on Delta could be rejected on Ryanair. What passes on Singapore Airlines might be overweight on United. For global travelers, this isn't just confusing, it's a moving target. So how do you outsmart the system? The first step is your luggage itself. Choose an expandable suitcase, but keep it zipped in its smallest form when you fly. Most airline sizers test bags at their tightest setting. Once you're past the gate, you can expand and use the extra space without issue. It's a simple adjustment that can mean the difference between boarding smoothly and paying a fee you didn't budget for. Then think in terms of multi-use items. A large scarf doubles as a blanket. A jacket with deep pockets turns into extra storage and actually even a pillow. These aren't gimmicks. They're ways to shift what would have been inside your bag onto your body without raising attention from airline staff. Frequent travelers know that the smartest packing isn't about squeezing more in, it's about making one item serve three purposes. And here's a lesser-known strategy. If your flight is packed and gate agents start asking for volunteers to check carry-ons, step forward early. By volunteering before you're forced, you often get your bag checked for free and sometimes with added perks like priority boarding on your next segment or even bonus miles. It's one of those unspoken tricks airlines don't advertise, but it pays off for travelers who know when to take advantage. And finally, don't underestimate loyalty programs and credit card partnerships. Many American airline credit cards include one free checked bag for you and often for a travel companion. Others let you board earlier, which practically guarantees overhead bin space for your carry-on. The annual fee may feel steep, but 1 or 2 international trips can offset the cost entirely. It's not about points, it's about privileges that save you money and stress before your trip even begins. Which of these hacks would save you the most stress? Tell me below. Your answer might help another traveler.
Picture this, you've just landed after a long-haul flight. You're tired, you're hungry, and then the screen at baggage claim flickers with the words every traveler dreads. Delayed. Now imagine your entire trip depending on a suitcase that may never arrive. The truth is the smartest travelers in 2025 don't just pack for today's flight, they future-proof every single trip. Let's break down how the rules of packing are quietly changing. Airports are rolling out AI-driven baggage scanners that don't just check for security threats, they're also learning traveler patterns. Think of it as personalization on a conveyor belt. In the near future, these systems could flag oversized bags before you even reach the counter, forcing you to adapt before you're charged. Meanwhile, airlines are experimenting with a radical new model. Carry-on subscriptions. Instead of paying unpredictable fees every time you fly, you'd pay a flat monthly rate to guarantee overhead space across trips. It's not mainstream yet, but forward-looking travelers are already watching which carriers are piloting this, because once it spreads, those who adopt early will save hundreds. Tech is also stepping in with real-time travel apps. Imagine getting a push notification 2 days before your flight. Your airline has quietly updated its carry-on rules, your current bag may no longer qualify, or a packing checklist tailored to the exact dimensions of your carrier's sizers. That's not science fiction, it's being tested right now. And here's the one hack that hasn't changed in decades but matters more than ever. Always keep a backup kit in your carry-on. A change of clothes, basic hygiene items, and your essentials. Too many travelers gamble with check bags and regret it when luggage is lost. This single step is the difference between starting your trip grounded and starting it stranded. Imagine standing at baggage claim, watching the carousel spin empty and realizing you skipped the one video that could have spared you the chaos. Don't let your next flight be the one you regret. Subscribe now so you never miss the strategies that future-proof your travels. Airports are designed to make you spend money, but what if I told you right now, at the very same airports you're rushing through, you're walking past free comforts, hidden perks, and loopholes that most travelers never notice? In the next 60 seconds, you'll discover hacks that feel almost unfair, because once you know them, you'll never travel the same way again. Let's start with water. You've seen overpriced bottled water at airport kiosks, $5 for something that should be free. But many terminals now hide refilling stations beyond security. No signs, no loud announcements. If you bring an empty reusable bottle, you can fill it for free, skip the markup, and keep hydrated through your entire flight. The quiet truth is airports know most passengers won't look for them, which is why they're rarely advertised. Here's another one, free showers and lounges. Certain international airports offer showers at no charge, but only if you know where to ask. And some lounges that seem off limits, your credit card might already unlock them, even if you've never paid for lounge access. Travelers have walked into premium lounges without spending a dime simply by flashing a card they already had in their wallet. That's the comfort most people are missing. Then there's the pillow trick. Forget bulky travel pillows that eat up your packing space. Bring an empty pillowcase and stuff it with clothes. Not only do you get a comfortable cushion for free, but airlines often treat it as a personal item, not as an extra carry-on. It's the kind of hack that feels so simple, you'll wonder why it's not common knowledge. This is what it means to travel smarter, not harder, finding comfort, safety, and value in places most travelers overlook. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the weirdest but smartest hack you've ever used at the airport? Drop it in the comments. I may feature it in the next video. Airlines don't advertise this, but right now in 2025, carry-on rules are shifting faster than most travelers realize. What passed last year might cost you $75 today, and next month it could be even more. Miss these updates and you'll pay for mistakes before you even board. Stay with me because in the next 30 seconds you'll leave knowing what 9 out of 10 passengers still don't. From North America to Europe to Asia, the rules are changing everywhere. Sizes are shrinking, fees are rising, and enforcement is tighter than ever. Confusing? Absolutely. Costly? Even more so if you don't know what's happening. But now you do. You're officially ahead of 90% of travelers. You can walk into your next flight confident, prepared, and ready to save money while everyone else scrambles. Here's the truth. Airlines aren't slowing down. They'll keep adjusting policies sometimes overnight. If you're not subscribed here, you'll be the last to know and the first to pay for it. Don't let that happen. Hit that subscribe button now and drop your wildest carry-on horror story in the comments. I may feature it in the next episode. Together, we can turn air travel back into something smarter, smoother, and just a little less of a nightmare.